Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Team Takeover podcast. My name is Ross, and today I am joined by the special teams coordinator and defensive back coach at Mid-American Nazarene University, Coach Benton. Coach Benton, how you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, man. I appreciate you hopping on. I know that it's camp season, heavy camps, spring training's kind of wrapping up, spring ball kind of already happened, so it's all full tilt ahead to the season.
Yeah, man. It's getting a little busy here. We're just trying to continue recruiting and on to that next class kind of right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I do appreciate you stopping through. So before I kind of talk about the team, I do want to get a little bit of background about you and kind of your journey to where you are now, because it's been interesting to kind of research and kind of look at. So you were actually an all-state quarterback in Texas, and you did get a scholarship and a full ride to Abilene Christian University, but you transferred, I think, after 4 years?
It was after my first year, actually, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm knucklehead and made some bad decisions, but had some great leaders there. But just made some decisions that it took me a different path. So
Yeah. Well, you transferred to Southwest, Assemblies of God University, SAGU or SAGU for short, and you
yeah.
switched positions. If you can kind of break down how that kind of happened and how the transfer portal is from now versus then and kind of the differences that you kind of noticed while you were in that experience.
It was kind of an easy transfer for me because I'm from Waxahachie, Texas, a small town down in south of Dallas, but that's where the college is located. So it's pretty easy for me to get down there and transfer. I had a huge mentor in my life, Rick Solis, who kind of put a bug in one of the coaches' ear there. The head coach actually for Simpson University, that's out in California now. He talked to him for me, and they brought me on campus, and it was kind of like, well, this is probably gonna be my home, because my parents was kind of just like, well, it's either you work or you find a different solution. So it's like I'm not going to work yet, man. But no, it was easy. Now with the transfer portal nowadays, I don't have much to say about it because it's a lot of things going on there, and I don't know if I really have an opinion. If it's for. I always tell guys, hey, if it's a better opportunity for you, then take it. But for guys who are not competitors, I just don't believe in it.
Okay. If you can also kind of break down that position switch that you had going from quarterback to receiver. I've seen it happen a couple times, but it is kind of rare. So if you can kind of break that down.
Yeah. Dude, I was a 5'8" quarterback. You know what I mean? So I got to Abilene Christian, and Coach Collins, who's the OC at UCA right now. He was like, "Hey, Benton, I think you need to try a different position." And I was always athletic. I was fast. And so I was with it. I was a team player. I was like, hey, whatever helps me get on the field. And so decided to switch to receiver, and I really liked it. You catch passes in open space, and just let it grow. And I started to like it even more and more, and kind of left that quarterback thing in the past. But no, it was a fun adventure, and it was good for me. So
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, that switch seemed to help the team because you guys did have at the moment, I think still the most wins at SAGU when you went 7-3.
I think the class we went 8-3 that year. I think the class. It was I think the 2019 class. I want to say you had Coach Jordan Barlow on here. I think his class has his class got one more win.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did win the Victory Bowl, so you can still kind of hold that. And then you did graduate from there in 2016, which, wow, that doesn't feel that long ago, but here we are. You did graduate in 2016 with a sports management degree. And then either you went to be the DB coach then after that, or you played arena football. If you can kind of help me with that timeline.
Yeah, I played arena football for about 2 years.
Hmm.
It ended up not being what I really wanted to do. Everybody's dreams to make it to the NFL, and I thought I was one of those guys who thought, "Hey, let me just try this out and work my way up," and didn't always work out that way. And so, played for 2 years and just, we did well. We went to playoffs my first year, but uh, it just wasn't what I wanted to do, and
Hmm.
my head coach, who's the guy who's the head coach here now, he was the OC at Western New Mexico, and he called me and he asked me he remembered that I wanted to coach. I told him this like my sophomore year of college, and he
Hmm.
remembered that I wanted to coach, and he reached out and said he had an opportunity for me, and that I was going to be coaching DB. So I was like, well, I'm up for the challenge, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of going from quarterback to receiver, really being on that offensive side, and then when you start coaching, switching completely over to the defense and being that DB. How did that kind of those playing experiences that you had? How did that help you kind of start coaching the DB room?
Well, I played a little bit DB in arena. I played DB throughout my life in high school a little bit. I was just a quarterback, so couldn't really get on the field. But we had some really
Right.
good DBs too. But
Hmm.
defense, man, I've always thrived off the defense. I'll be honest with you. My favorite player is Brian Dawkins. Like, I don't have a favorite offensive player.
Okay.
And so it was a great opportunity for me to go and get into the world that I really truly love. And it helped that I played offense my whole life.
Hmm.
Majority of my life I played offense. It really helped when I was teaching my guys, splits, and teaching them different tendencies. What foot he had on line. When they put this guy in this position, what they're trying to do with them, and so it really helped me on the defensive side. Um, having been playing offense all those years.
Right. Okay. Okay. I was gonna say because that's kind of a wild switch, but I mean, I was gonna say maybe there's some things that you can learn. You can kind of teach some tricks there to kind of help it out. So sounds like it did work out for you because you're still coaching them DBs, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
you
Yeah,
started
had some great mentors in my life. Had some
Mhm.
some great defensive minds that I've been under, and so with Bo Gretsch and Neil Novak, who's the DB coach at Northwestern Missouri State, and now my defensive coordinator right now, man. He's Ivan Cordova is probably one of the smartest people I've ever been around, man, and just helped me continue to grow in my areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we kind of go into where you are now, I do feel kind of want to backtrack to that Western New Mexico years because you were there from what 2018 to 2020.
Yeah,
So, what were some things that you were kind of able to learn while you were working there? You did coach an all-conference player, uh, Izell Price.
yeah.
Kind of, what were some things that you kind of helped him with, and you were able to bring with you now to MNU?
Just the mentor side of just being like not the dad, not a dad, but just like a
Hmm.
public figure for him, like a male figure for him, and just being a leader for him and showing him how to lead. And in those tough situations when adversity hits, just being there for him and actually teaching him how to go about those things. And then playing wise, he was a heck of a player, and I just wanted to give him more knowledge of just like concepts and just using his ability to his best. Just putting
Hmm.
him in different positions so that he can make plays. He can start seeing like how I see. So, and that he did a heck of a job, man.
Right, right. Yeah, tip his cap out to him. So, kind of transitioning now from those Western New Mexico days to now. You started in 2020 at MNU, which is an interesting year because the COVID year. How
Mm.
was that experience, kind of coaching during those COVID years with the empty stadiums and things like that?
Man, that was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever been through. Honestly, we got here. Guys had transferred out. COVID hit. We didn't have a spring ball. We ended up playing the season with like 59 guys. So it was really hard to run a program. If you know how college is, man. So it was really hard for us to run a program. Um, it, we got some key pieces that year, but not
Hmm.
having practice all spring and trying to put in new systems,
Yeah.
offensive and special teams, like plus not having all the weapons that they had before kind of hurt us a
Right.
little bit. But the guys bought into what we were trying to do, and they played their hardest. And it was just interesting year that year, man. Just not knowing if you're going to have a game, and we played a game. We found out we were going to play a game on like a Wednesday, and then we,
Yeah.
it was triple option, which Lord have mercy, but you, yeah, you went through some of those. You had some of those challenges, and I mean, it was rough for us. So uh, we knew it would be hard, but that's pretty tough, man.
Yeah. Well, as somebody that, I didn't play during the COVID years or anything like that, but somebody that did watch the COVID years, I do want to tip y'all to caps all the coaches and the players that were there because I can only imagine how difficult that was.
Yeah.
So going from 2020, come back 2021, you guys did have a slight improvement, but 2022 and 2023 were really those years that kind of kicked in. So kind of those building blocks to success. What's that next step for you guys that you're really hoping for this year going into 2024?
Well, that 2021 class was so important to our program. They still are. That's the class that'll be graduating. That'll be playing for us this year. That's helped us turn this thing around. We went hard, man. I'll tell you. I mean, we were always out. Like as soon as they allowed us to get on the roads, man, we were gone. We recruited very hard. We competed for players. We landed some guys that arguably were some of the better in the city. I mean, we recruited Kansas City, recruited Texas, and we kind of lived on that. The local Kansas area, and then the Missouri side. But we built our team around those kids, and right now they're the foundation of our program. Honestly, all of those guys, majority of those guys are all conference players. Our quarterback, who is ridiculous right now, he's the player of the year for the conference. Our running back's pretty good from that class. We have a star, which is like our nickel, Ethan Pritchard, who's really good. My starting strong safety, Jacob Tech, who's a captain, really good from that class. So my free safety, one of my free safety, Kid Dickerson, it was huge for that 2021 class to come in and help us build. And so that 2022 class, we brought in a bunch of freshmen. We're trying to build it the right way. We didn't want to go the JUCO route or the Porter route. We really, truly wanted to build our foundation and our culture. And then last year was just, we saw it all start coming together, man. As long as we could stay healthy, man, we knew we had a shot. And so really just right now, we want to build off of that. We have 20 of our 22 starters coming back. And then we want to continue to build on that and hopefully have a shot at the playoffs and take it game by game once we get there. And obviously everybody wants to win the big one, but we truly believe we have a shot at that one this year if we do right and we stay healthy and execute. So
absolutely. Best of luck to you guys for that. By the way, just want to throw a little good luck out there for you guys for the season.
Thank you.
I do want to zoom in a little bit to the DB room. If that's cool with you, I can kind of talk about the DB room a little bit. You guys did have 5 seniors last year and 3 juniors. So you do have some guys coming back, but I really want to look at the 10 lower classmen that are kind of moving up, mainly the sophomores. And I kind of wanted to ask you, who are some of the guys that you think are going to have a major impact coming into this season from that class, from the sophomores and then some of the juniors that are kind of moving up to being seniors?
Kevin Ledesma is he's going to be a sophomore this year. He's going to be a really good, solid player for us. He plays corner. We just had a corner that signed with the Falcons, so we needed a guy that was going to come in and be pretty good because in our boundary side we have a really good corner, Maxwell Weber. He'll be a senior this year, but Kevin will be huge. Dion is another corner. Who will be huge, Deion Burton, and then Rance Hamilton is another guy who all those guys will be really sophomores on the field, and they're really well, and all of them played this year. All of them had some playing time this year, so they've got that experience behind them. And then in the safety room, Elias Carson, he was a freshman of the year for the conference this year. He's going to be really, really good for us, man. That cat can play. And then Isaiah Hagan is another safety that we have who, he's from Texas, man. I'm a Texas boy, so I love my Texas guys. But
Yeah.
he's really good, man. Joker got some size. He's about 6 foot. He's about 200 pounds. And he can play. And then my last one is Matt Patusik. He plays in the nickel. He's behind Ethan Pritchard, but that kid, man, he's probably one of our best coverage guys that I coach. And he's just a very solid player. And when you go on Sundays and you're looking at and you're grading them, and Matt's never in the negative, man. He's always in the positive. So we got some pretty good DBs here, man. Like I said, obviously Anthony Sowell, who's with the Falcons right now, was a guy for us. But I tell you right now, I've probably got one of the best DB rooms that I've ever had. Like all together, like I'm very confident in all these guys, and like we have a rule here, man. If you're in the too deep, then you're a starter. So like if a guy goes down, then the next guy, you're a starter. Like I expect the same expectation I had for the guy that was in front of you.
Right.
And then that's how we play our guys here. So,
okay. I was gonna say with that next man up mentality, I did also want to kind of look at that freshman class that you guys bought in this year and kind of ask what were some of the expectations with some of those guys? Are they coming in to play immediately? You thinking maybe give them a little bit of time to kind of develop underneath all those guys that you have now, or what are you kind of thinking?
Fortunately, we're in a position where we don't need any of those guys to come in and play right away. But I'll tell you this, man, we got a couple that we signed that if they execute, they'll force our hands. I'll be honest with you. And as a coach, you love competition, man, and you just want to make sure that's at the highest it can be. But
Right.
I tell you, man, like, I got some really good players, but we got a couple that we signed that I'm just like, man, it's gonna get scary for a coach. Like, I'm gonna really have to do my homework and make sure if these guys are executing, man. Like, we play the best players here, man. And so, but no, man, I think those guys will come in and they'll be willing to learn, and I think they'll see that, hey, man, there's some really good football players on this team in my position, and they'll hype up the competition. You know what I mean? And that's what we need here. We don't ever want our seniors to feel comfortable. We don't want our juniors to feel comfortable. We want those guys to feel like, man, if I don't do something right, so this guy behind me will take my spot, and I think that's what creates a championship atmosphere.
Absolutely. I was gonna say always competing. Love that. Always got to compete. So last couple things I do want to bring up before I let you go. Kind of for people that are kind of finished playing football but want to get into coaching, is there any advice that you'd be willing to give them, kind of that watch the episodes and be like, okay, I can take that with me?
I'll tell you, man, the number one thing is sacrifice. And that's whether you're going to be a GA or whether you're going to be a stipend coach, or if you're a full-time coach who's, or first-year guy, second-year guy. It takes a lot of sacrifice and it takes a lot of hard work. You cannot run away from the grind. There's a lot of early mornings and a lot of late nights. And I'll tell you, like, especially for a GA, I'll tell you, you're going to do some of the dirty work. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's you're kind of paying your dues, but I'll tell you, you also have your hand on everything. So you're just as important as the full-time coach. Because without you guys, without those guys, we can't really do our job. It's
Right.
really hard for us to do our job without those guys. And so I would just tell you, like, that's my number one thing. Don't run away from the grind, and kind of embrace it. You know what I mean? Because once you're done with it, you'll be happy that you had to go through that. And you'll see how much better of a coach you'll become. Everybody goes through it, so you have to be willing to do that. And I know we're in a world right now where we want things handed to us, but in this profession, man, you got to be ready to grind and do things that you probably don't agree with sometimes, but it makes everyone better around you. So,
Okay. I was about to, anybody that's listening that wants to be a coach, I hope they took notes on that because that's really good advice. So, final thing, this isn't for the coaches. This is more for the players that are trying to get recruited and trying to find somewhere to go. What's some advice that you'll be willing to give them trying to get to that next level, be it college or, even like a professional league that they're trying to go to?
I would just tell those guys to, chase your dreams, and there's nothing wrong with chasing your dreams. But I'll also tell those guys to to be open minded. And again, with the portal and all that, man, there's some opportunities that some of these high school kids aren't getting, and they're holding out, which there's nothing wrong with it. I think you just have to be careful, and you have to be open minded to the colleges that are interested in you. And then I would tell you, just when you make your highlight tape, put all your best plays first. We want to see how explosive you are. We want to see, are you catching a touchdown? We want to see, are you tackling well? Are you getting interceptions? If you're a D lineman, we want to see if you're playing with your hands. You want to wreak havoc, but are you playing with some type of technique?
Right.
Or if you're a running back, do you have good vision? Are you hitting the hole? Are you patient? We're going to evaluate all those things. So I'll just tell you, like, if you have good clips, if you have great clips, like, put those things first. And because coaches are going to watch that first 2 or 3 minutes. And then, there's so many other kids you got to evaluate that you got to wow those coaches in that time. So make sure you do that.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach Benton, I appreciate you hopping on, man. Best of luck this season. And I will be keeping close tabs on it, just, kind of rooting for you guys.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we do what we're supposed to do and we're in a great spot, man. And we can talk again later.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I appreciate you hopping on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate it, man. Have a great one.
All right, you too.
All right.